First of all, to everyone watching, I wish you all good health. Before we begin, I kindly and respectfully ask for your support. If you appreciate the work we do at Proctor Mindset, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it with those you care about. Your actions make a significant difference. We pour a lot of effort into creating these videos for you, and your support is our greatest motivation. Thank you so much for being here with me. Your presence truly means a lot. Did you know? The only thing stopping you from achieving in a month what would normally take a year is what you believe to be true? I know, it sounds absurd, doesn't it? But let me tell you, that's exactly what happened to me. For years, I was broke and in debt. I was stuck in a job I hated, thinking there was no way out. But there was. And do you know why I couldn't see it? Because my paradigm, what I believed was possible, was keeping me a prisoner. Today, I'm going to tell you a truth that no one else tells you. You'll never get rich if you keep going like this. And I'm going to show you what this is, and how you can change it before the end of the year. How many times have you known exactly what you needed to do, but just didn't do it? You've signed up for a course, read a book, watched a motivational video, and then you gave up. It's not because you're weak or lazy. It's because you're a prisoner of an invisible mental program. This program is called a paradigm. It's a mix of beliefs, habits, emotional patterns, and conditioning that have been implanted since childhood. You weren't born with these ideas about money, success, or failure. You learned them, and this mental autopilot makes your decisions for you. Have you ever seen someone say, "I know," when you explain something, but then not follow through? Maybe you've done it yourself. On a conscious level, you understand. But in your subconscious, it's the paradigm that's in charge. It controls 95% of your decisions. It doesn't matter what you say you want. What matters is what your paradigm believes you deserve. You can be the smartest person in the room, with a degree that cost over £30,000, and still be broke. Knowledge isn't power. Applied knowledge is power. And application only happens if the paradigm allows it. Otherwise, you'll read the book and go back to the sofa. You'll create a vision board and forget about it. You'll dream of financial freedom and then repeat, "It's too expensive." I understand this completely because I lived it. Every time I tried, something invisible held me back. I would make money, but it would slip through my fingers. A new expense or a problem would suddenly pop up. I was sabotaging myself without even realizing it. I felt like a complete failure. But it wasn't me failing, it was my paradigm repeating a cycle it knew. I remember a time when I traveled a lot, especially from Toronto to Kuala Lumpur, a flight of over 25 hours. During those long flights, while others were watching movies or sleeping, I was doing calculations. I would calculate, divide, and multiply huge sums of money, imagining how much I could generate. Without knowing it, I was reprogramming myself. I was forcing my mind to accept big numbers, to get used to the idea of abundance. And the more I did it, the more normal it became for me. It was as if my mind was beginning to accept what had previously seemed impossible. Then, a question hit me like a ton of bricks. What's the difference between someone who earns £1 million a year and someone who doesn't? And do you know what I realized? It wasn't luck, intelligence, talent, or appearance. It was awareness. A person's level of consciousness. The difference lay in what that person believed was possible and acceptable for them. Today, science proves this with neuroscience. Research shows that our habits and beliefs form neural pathways in the brain. The more we repeat a pattern, the stronger it becomes. These pathways don't just disappear overnight. You have to open up new mental pathways, which can only be done with repetition and emotion. It's not enough to just say, "I want to be rich." You have to feel what it's like to be rich. You have to think and act like a rich person. This is what begins to weaken the old pathways and create new connections in the brain. But I'll tell you this, changing your paradigm is scary. It's going to shout at you. It will try to convince you that you can't, that it's not for you, that it's too late. It will bring back memories of past failures. It will compare you to others and tell you that you weren't born for this. And it is at this very moment that you must be stronger than your old programming. It's in this internal conflict that you either break the cycle or you spend another 5, 10, or 20 years repeating the same patterns and limitations. So, I want you to do a simple but powerful exercise. Write it down right now, not later. Write, I am so happy and grateful now that I am earning £100,000 a year. Carry that piece of paper with you. Read it every day. Feel the vibration of that amount. Imagine your life. What car would you drive? What house would you have? Where would you travel? Don't wait until you feel ready. Feel it now. Your subconscious only understands the language of emotion, not logic. This may seem silly, but I guarantee you, this is exactly how I went from a miserable, indebted job to the life I'm aiming for today. This isn't some cheap philosophy, it's quantum physics. Everything is energy, and energy vibrates. A similar vibration attracts a similar vibration. If you emit fear, doubt, and worry, you are tuning yourself to situations that reinforce those emotions. I have seen this happen so many times that I could write entire books just with these stories. During training sessions, supervisors would tell me, Bob, I explained everything, showed them step by step. The person understood, but they didn't do it. My only question was, did you change their paradigm? Did you change their internal emotional state? Because on a conscious level, the person knows what they need to do, but it's the subconscious that commands. It doesn't change through logic, but through emotion, repetition, and new mental images. Most people vibrate in a state of scarcity without even realizing it. They say they want to be prosperous but vibrate with fear. They talk about financial freedom but live in a state of worry about bills. They dream of being rich but spend hours complaining about prices, the government, and the crisis. The universe doesn't respond to words, it always responds to vibration. No matter what you say, it's what you feel that matters. For years, I repeated this pattern. I grew up believing that money was hard to get, that it came with a lot of effort, luck, or inheritance. I wanted to earn more, but I vibrated with the fear of lack. I said I wanted freedom but felt anxiety. Every time you feel that, you are affirming your frequency of scarcity to the universe. It responds with a law. Then, during a long trip, something changed. I was sitting there with a calculator in my hand, doing accounts and multiplying enormous sums, imagining those numbers in my daily life. I started to feel what it would be like to manage a lot of money. Not just thinking about it, but feeling it. Without even realizing it, I adjusted my vibration. What seemed inaccessible became familiar, like imagining €1,000,000. I found it strange that others would find it absurd. That's the key. When something becomes familiar to your mind, it stops sabotaging you. The subconscious works to keep you in the zone it recognizes as safe. If scarcity is the norm, it keeps you there. If abundance becomes the new norm, it works to keep you at that level. You can see this in real-life stories like that of Oprah Winfrey. She was born into poverty at a time and place where the odds were almost nil. But as a child, she played at being a TV host, imagining crowds listening to her voice. She created an internal state of success long before any external signs showed it. She vibrated on the frequency of success while those around her vibrated on that of survival. That's why she went from there to here. The reverse also happens. Mike Tyson, another example, one of the greatest boxers. He accumulated hundreds of millions of dollars, but his internal vibration was anger, fear, and confusion. He continued to operate on the frequency of self-sabotage. If you don't change that, no matter how much money comes in, it will leave. Prosperity without consciousness does not last, because the vibrational field that holds that energy has never been built. You have to start acting as if you are already living the reality you desire. Not tomorrow, now. How would the person you want to be act today? How would they think? How would they speak? What decisions would they make? Every choice strengthens or weakens your vibration. It is in this daily adjustment, in these small decisions aligned with the image of who you want to be, that true change happens. The biggest mistake is to believe that you have to change the external world first, that you need a raise, a better partner, a great idea, or a favorable political context. No. You have to change inside first. The external world only reflects the internal state. If you don't change that, the rest is just window dressing. From today onwards, be mindful. Observe what you feel when you think about money, when you pay a bill, when you hear about success. What emotion arises? Is it discomfort, fear, jealousy, or anger? That's a sign that your vibrational field needs to be adjusted. And that's not a problem. The important thing is to perceive it, because from that awareness, you can change. Remember, it's not enough to say it, you have to feel it. The universe doesn't interpret words, it captures vibrations. And vibration is born from emotion. It's emotion that carries the signal. It's emotion that builds the path where opportunities arrive. Adjust that, and watch what starts to happen. How many times have you woken up with that strange feeling in your chest? As if you were wasting your life. As if everything was on autopilot. You get up, work, come home tired, sleep, and the next day everything is the same. And you know you're not happy, but you stay like that. Do you know why? Because you're afraid. And if there's one thing that paralyzes you more than any real obstacle, it's fear. The fear of failing, the fear that it won't work, the fear of others' judgment, the fear of disappointing those who expect something from you. And above all, the fear of giving up the false security of routine, even if it's slowly killing you. It may be hard to hear, but it's the truth. I've seen it my whole life. Incredible people, talented, creative, capable of changing their story and that of others, but stuck in jobs they hate, relationships that suffocate them, lives that don't reflect who they are. And do you know what's stopping them from changing? It's not a lack of opportunity, or the crisis, or politics, or bills. It's fear. The fear of letting go of what no longer serves them without knowing what will take its place. Because most people prefer the painful certainty of mediocrity over the risk of a magnificent possibility. I remember a scene that has never left me. I was returning from a seminar on the law of vacuum of prosperity. This law says that for the new to enter, the old must leave. You have to create space for what you desire. Because if your life is full of things, people, and situations that don't represent you, there is no space. When I got home, I discovered that my family had thrown away everything they didn't like in the kitchen. Plates, glasses, cutlery, everything. I was shocked. I asked them what happened, and they said, "You said to create space." So, we started there. And they were right. It was a practical, real, and living lesson. From that moment on, I understood the power of letting go of the old before even knowing what would take its place. But do you know what the most common pattern is? People wait for the new to arrive to let go of the old. They say, "When I'm sure it will work, I'll quit. When I have extra money, I'll invest. When I have time, I'll start that project." They spend their whole lives waiting for perfect circumstances. But the truth is, perfect circumstances will never come, because you are the one who creates the circumstances. The universe only moves when you move. It's at the moment you truly decide that things start to align, because a true decision changes the vibration, and the vibration changes the result. And no, I'm not telling you to drop everything at once, to throw yourself into the unknown without planning. That would be irresponsible, but you must start by taking the first step, and that step is often internal. It's an emotional decision to no longer accept a lukewarm life, to no longer tolerate emotional, financial, and existential mediocrity. To say with every cell of your body, "That's enough. I deserve more, and I will do what it takes to live what I deserve." I always suggest a simple and revealing exercise. Imagine right now, right away, that you have all the money you need. All your bills are paid, you have surplus money, complete freedom. Imagine where you would be, who you would be with, what you would do. How would you wake up knowing that you no longer have to do anything just for money? This image, this feeling inside you, is you. It's your essence showing you the way. And do you know why most people ignore this? Because they were taught to stifle that voice since childhood. To be realistic, and think small. To accept limits, to settle for what comes. And year after year, that flame goes out until the person forgets what they truly love. But let me tell you, that image is not a fantasy. It's your compass, the clue your soul left for you. And the more you ignore it, the more you feel disconnected from life. More tired, more anxious, more empty. You weren't born to live on autopilot. You were born to expand. And the universe does not forgive stagnation. When you stop growing, you start to wither, regardless of age, bank account, or address. Life always responds to courage. The one who dares, who jumps even with fear, who acts without knowing what comes next. That's the one who changes. Because when you let go of what no longer represents you, what represents you begins to seek you out. And the universe says, now you are ready. And things start to happen. You don't build your reality from the outside in. It's in your mind, in the image you hold of who you are and what you believe you deserve. The problem is that many people imagine a better life but let that image die in the routine, worries, and doubts. The problem is not with the dream itself, but with not maintaining that image long enough for it to become a vibrational template. You visualize something today. You feel good for a few minutes. Then the next day, you start thinking about debts, traffic, and the fear of the future. This oscillation destroys creative energy. The universe responds to the frequency you vibrate at most of the time, not to your sporadic desires. If your dominant vibration is anxiety, scarcity, and frustration, that's what you will continue to attract. I learned this in a simple but powerful way. When I was completely broke, I wrote on a piece of paper that I was happy and grateful to earn £25,000 a year. At the time, that was a huge sum for me. But I read it all the time, and most importantly, I felt it. I imagined myself in the place where I would live, how I would wake up, what I would do with that money. And that image changed my vibration, and the vibration changed the circumstances. Neuroscience proves that when you intensely visualize something, the brain activates the same areas as if it were already happening. The more you repeat it, the more natural it becomes for your mind. And when the mind accepts something as natural, it works to maintain it. You change your decisions, your attitudes, your choices, and life begins to align with this new mental and emotional frequency. Visualization is not a luxury for dreamers. It's the first step of all true transformation, the seed of the reality you are going to harvest. The more you maintain this image, the faster it manifests, provided you don't give up before the world shows signs. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. And what you are is determined by the image you maintain, the vibration you emit, and the feelings you cultivate in silence. Nothing changes outside until the inside changes first. This internal change transforms improbable opportunities into reality. If this makes sense to you, I invite you to continue. The next video on your screen will take you deeper into your journey of consciousness. Thank you so much for being here with me. I'll be waiting for you in the next video, because your journey has only just begun. Let's go together.